Hey guys, Magnus here, bringing you another video. This one we're going to be doing a video talking about my top 10 most wanted costumes. Now, I'm going to start off with this video. I'm not a fan of costumes, and I never really have been. So it's not like a video where I'm going to say that I really definitely want all of these, because honestly, there's only maybe the top three I actually really want. The rest I'm not that bothered about, but if I had to pick a costume that I wanted, I'd pick them. And so, you know, I'm not a massive fan of costumes. I prefer characters over costumes any day, just because I feel like I forget about them most of the time. Like, especially Homer's costumes, eventually I just toss them aside and I never use them again. And it's a bit pointless having them, really. But anyway, I'm going to go through my top 10 most wanted costumes. There are a few costumes I do like. For example, the Sunday Morning Homer costume. I really love that costume just because, of course, we've seen Homer like that many times, so it's appropriate. But yeah, so let's go. So number 10, and this is a grouped costumes. This is the church/smart clothes. Now, of course, we see the Simpsons in these kind of clothes a load of times, usually when they go to church. But obviously, for example, when Bart met Greta Wolfcastle, he had this stuff on. When Homer goes places, he sometimes has this on. Marge has it when she's obviously doing her call service at the church, when she takes over Reverend Lovejoy's call service. So there could be some interesting tasks with that. And I think Lisa might have been seen like that, you know, somewhere else as well, in some smart places. But I think it would be cool if we got these costumes, mainly because we've seen them so many times. Not because they're that, like, particularly interesting. It's mainly because we see the Simpsons in, you know, looking like this a few times. The only other option I could think that would resolve this costume, if there was a task given to all the Simpsons members where they, I don't know, walk around in smart or get smarted up or something like that, where they have their clothes, I'd be okay with that. I just want something where we can see their see their smart clothes, because we see them all the time, or their church clothes. Or it could be a task, or it could be an actual costume, and I wouldn't be that annoyed with a costume, because I think they could do a lot of tasks with them, especially the Marge one and the Bart one. Maybe not so Homer and Lisa. And Maggie's one's just cute, you know. I just think it'd be cool to have. Number 9 is Vietnam Skinner. Now, I really wanted some sort of, military-themed event, and I still think it's possible, it's plausible to have one. And what I think would be awesome to run the event would be Skinner in his Vietnam uniform. So, of course, we've seen him many times. Of course, he served in Vietnam. I think that whole thing where he lied about his identity, I'm pretty sure that's non-canon. But basically, he was, I think he was a colonel, wasn't he? Or a sergeant? I think he was a sergeant. Eventually, he became a sergeant, but at first he was a rookie. And I just want him looking like this, you know, looking with his slick back hair and the grenades on him and the little pocket. Well, maybe not the pocket knife. Maybe there'll be a task there. But I definitely want him looking like that. I think it'd be an awesome costume for Skinner, and they could definitely do some really interesting tasks with him and that, and it would be really good for some sort of military-themed event. So yeah. Number 8, this is one I got from Ted, and, you know, at first I wasn't too bothered with the idea. Of course, Ted talked about it in our Most Things We Want, and I wasn't, like, too fussed. I was thinking, meh, but after sitting on it for a bit, I think it would be kind of cool. So, of course, this is the original Simpsons, so this is what they used to look like on the Tracy Ullman show. I think, is that what it's called? I don't know, or whatever it's called. The show it used to be on, where they had, like, mini clips, before it became its own TV show. So it would be cool if we got to see, you know, the really jaggedy version of all the Simpsons members, and we just, you know, got them walking around in the town. And that would be a funny little costume. So it's another group of costumes. I think they could do some interesting tasks. They could definitely go back, look at some of the, you know, the mini episodes of The Simpsons, the older episodes, and they could do something relating to those tasks. I think it would be really cool. And I wouldn't be too fussed if they didn't add it, but it would be something cool to, of course, throw back to, you know, when The Simpsons was old. Maybe they could do it on, like, some sort of anniversary. I don't know when the first Simpsons, Tracy, whatever it's called, when we actually first of all saw The Simpsons. I wonder when that was, and maybe we could have some sort of anniversary, like I think they've gone past 20 years, but yeah, they've definitely gone past for 20 years. Obviously. I don't know, maybe 50 years if we get there. I presume they haven't reached 50 yet, though. Yeah, whatever. So maybe some sort of anniversary they could do it, but it would be really cool to see these costumes. Number 7 is Colonel Homer, and I threw in Major Marge. I'm not too bothered about the Major Marge costume, but it is pretty unique and pretty sexy. No, I'm joking. But I definitely want the Colonel Homer costume, mainly because... Have I spelled Colonel wrong? I have, haven't I? Whatever. Ignore that. I butchered that. But anyway, moving on. Basically, I really would like to see Colonel Homer in the game, mainly because, of course, the tasks with him and Lurleen would be awesome. It's a really iconic costume. We've seen it more than once. We basically see it in all the Lurleen episodes. So it is really, really important costume. And I think it is pretty, like I said, it's iconic. I'm very surprised we didn't get it in the Wild West, because it is a very Wild West themed event. Themed costume. So I was very surprised when we didn't get it in the Wild West event. I was kind of disappointed, and I was also disappointed when we didn't get it in the Lurleen level, because I think it would have been appropriate to have it in the Lurleen level. But whatever, I still think we can have it sometime in the game. I'm not too sure what kind of event they could add it in. I really don't think there is one, unless they were to do some sort of Wild West Part 2, like a mini Wild West Part 2, like that lasted a week or something. I wouldn't object too much to that if they gave us these two costumes. But yeah, two really cool costumes. I definitely want to see them. Number 6 is the Everyman Homer costume. So of course this comes from the main reason I want this in the game is I think they really missed an opportunity in Superheroes 2 to not add it, because I think it would have been a cool new costume for Homer. And of course they didn't add it in Superheroes 3 either, but they could add it in Superheroes 4. Now if they bring back the superheroes for a 4th year, which I think they could really do, and I like what they're doing, I think if they keep this up and they make it annual and they just give us something like just one item, as long as they gave us something free as well, like something free and something premium, that would be really, really cool. And maybe they could one year give us Everyman Homer, and that would be really, really awesome to get. So I do think they probably will give us Everyman Homer in like a mini superhero event. That's what I presume is going to happen, and I think it will happen eventually. But yeah, I definitely really want it in the game, because there are some really cool tasks they can do with it. Anyway, number 5 is Cleric. Was it? Yeah, Cleric, whatever. Which is of course Marge's Earthland Realm character. So I really want to see her Earthland Realm character. Of course, we've got the Shadow Knight, which is Bart's character. And to be honest, I've just sort of thrown this in. I mainly want Marge's one. That's the one I want the most. But I would really like to see Mo and Turkey Skinner as well. Because, and made, to be honest with you, all the Earthland Realm. So I'll leave in the description a link for you to look at all the Earth Realm costumes, the potential costumes they have, which is basically all the characters. There's one like Patty and Selma, where they're both a dragon. They're like sort of a combined character, and this could be a really interesting costume. What I think they could do with this costume is they could have it so it goes on like Patty, for example, but when you slide across, it comes up with a little box and says this costume will combine Patty and Selma's characters. Are you sure you want to do that? You click yes, and it combines both their characters into one big dragon. Like, how cool of an idea is that? That'd be awesome. And Turkey Skinner, God, I want that as well. But I really mainly want the Marge one, because I think they can make a really interesting storyline. And I think the Clash of Crap event, as I call it, really missed a trick here, because I think they could have added all these costumes in instead of the ones they added, because the ones they added aren't really from anything. They just sort of made them up. I'm pretty sure even the Barbarians made up. But they could have given us just all of those costumes, and that would have been so much cooler. It would have been just like a Stonecutter event, and they could have definitely done some really interesting tasks with them. So I'm really kind of disappointed they didn't do that. But like I said, I mainly want the Marge one, and they could maybe add all the others. It could possibly be a mini event. That would be cool. Like a mini event that gave us just loads of costumes. That would be pretty awesome. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. So moving on, number 4, and this is a personal favourite, and I was kind of annoyed when they didn't give us it on the Secret Agents event, but that's Emperor Mo. I would love this costume. Now, of course, it's from the movie, but they've added stuff from the movie anyway, so it doesn't really matter. They can add stuff from the movie. They're allowed to. I really want this so badly. It's just so... First of all, it just looks so unique. It's so funny. It's in his dressing gown. He's got the big bullets around him and the cone on his head. It's just so funny, and they could definitely do a really interesting storyline, because he's the ruler of Springfield now. Yeah, so it's mainly just a funny looking one, and that's the main reason I want it. The tasks would be pretty bad, actually, because I can't think of any animations or off the top of my head that really happened, but yeah, I definitely would like to see it in the episode. So yeah. Anyway, number three, and this is a personal favourite, a very good potential for Halloween, and they definitely could add it in Halloween. Not sure how they'll ever add Emperor Mo ever again, but they could definitely add Donut Head Homer, that is. I think this would be such an awesome costume, just because he's got a big donut head. And, of course, it was the end of the episode, I'm pretty sure, but it'd just be so funny, him just walking around, having a task like eat himself and stuff like that, and, I don't know, he could have get checked up on the hospital or something, I don't know. But the main task would just be him eating himself. And I know I don't really want many Homer costumes. I think Homer has way too many costumes. And it's kind of funny how I've got so many Homer costumes on this list, me saying that. But I really definitely want to see Donut Head Homer. It's just such a funny looking costume. And I'm surprised that we haven't got it yet. And I really do want it in the game. And I hope they add it. So yeah, guys, that's number 3. And I hope you agree. Number 2, and again, this is another superhero one, and I do hope they add it in on like an annual little superhero event. And this is what I mean. There's not enough to make a full-fledged third event. It's mainly buildings is the issue with that. And to be honest, and characters really. Characters and buildings is the issue with making another event. It wouldn't really work out. But I like the idea of a little mini event. That's really cool. Like having, well, it's not even a mini event. It's like just a few things in the store, and I really do like that idea. Another potential one is Cupcake Kid, and I really want this just because the main reason I want this more than anything else is it completes the set. So of course Pieman's sidekick is Cupcake Kid. That's, it's always been. That's how it's been. And I know it's more to the comics than it is the show. I think we've only seen Cupcake Kid once in the show. While we've seen Pieman loads of times in the TV show. I still don't really care. I still really want Cupcake Kid, and I think it would be an awesome, awesome costume to have for Bart. So I just really badly want to see him in the game. And I think there's definitely loads of potential in terms of tasks and stuff, like I said. So again, they can just add it in another little mini superhero event. Like I said, I hope they are annual, and we can get Cupcake Kid, and it will be awesome. So yeah, let's move on. So yeah, and the number 1. Can we have that drum roll anyway? Let's just do a drum roll. Number 1 is, of course, it's Mod Flanders. So this is my most requested costume, and you're probably thinking, but Mod's in the game. Well, no, her ghost is in the game. So I think what would be awesome is if they gave us a Mod Flanders costume for her ghost, so she could actually do some normal tasks as her human being self. And I've always wanted to see her human being self and not her ghost. And that would be a costume I'd actually prefer to have on. I'd prefer to have this costume rather than her ghost. Her ghost is cool and all, and I think it would have been better if they gave us Mod as an actual character that Halloween and then gave us a ghost costume on top. That's why I was a bit disappointed that we just got a ghost. It was a bit kind of upsetting, really. Well, not upsetting, but it's just a bit annoying. But it would be really cool to get her actual self, and then they can add her ghost to the ghost costume to, I don't know, like some other category, and keep her real self in the Flanders family category, because that'd be awesome. I'm not too sure when they could give us it. Well, actually, no, I know when they could give us this. They could give us this on Easter. It'd be perfect. Of course, Easter being a very Christian holiday, let's add a very Christian woman. Is what would be good. It'd be a perfect thing for Easter if they could make a little Easter event. Even if it's just a mini event, where by the end of it we get Mod Flanders, it'd be awesome. That's why I was a bit annoyed that they're giving us all the Praiseland stuff. That's another reason I forgot to mention. It's all really good stuff for Easter. Like, all the Praiseland stuff is brilliant for Easter, yet they're sort of giving it away. Like they gave away half the Egyptian stuff for the Time Traveling Toaster, when it's all from a Bible episode. But anyway, like I said, I am a bit disappointed about that, but overall, we could see Mod Flanders in the next Easter event. It'd be awesome. It'd be an awesome, awesome costume for her ghost, and yeah. So yeah, they're my most wanted costumes. So if you agree, tell me your most wanted costumes. If you disagree, then also tell me, and I'll see you next video. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, goodbye.